Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Tonight we bring you a developing political story from the state of Georgia, where the race to replace former Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is taking shape in a manner that reflects the broader dynamics within the Republican Party itself. The contest for Georgia's 14th Congressional District has drawn significant attention, not only because of the high-profile nature of the departing representative, but also because of the way candidates are positioning themselves in relation to both Greene and President Donald Trump. This race offers a window into how Republican candidates navigate the sometimes complicated terrain of loyalty, criticism, and political identity in one of the most conservative districts in the nation. The seat became available following Greene's announcement in November that she would be resigning from Congress. Her departure came during her third term in office, a decision that has prompted a range of reactions from voters and candidates alike. Now a crowded field of Republicans is vying for the opportunity to represent the district, and the dynamics of the race are being shaped in no small part by the candidates' relationship with Greene and their willingness to align themselves with President Trump. The primary election is scheduled for March 10th, and political observers anticipate that the outcome will likely lead to a runoff election in April given the size of the field. Among those seeking to fill the vacancy is Jim Tully, a former staffer who worked for Greene as a senior district representative. Tully announced his candidacy shortly after Greene made her resignation public, explaining that he felt compelled to act quickly so that voters in the district would have clarity about their options moving forward. In a January appearance on a local conservative radio program, Tully introduced himself to listeners, but notably did not mention his connection to Greene until the host brought it up. During that interview, Tully described Greene's departure as leaving what he called a glaring loss in the district. He emphasized his desire to give voters a chance to start over, and expressed that he could not leave families in the district wondering what would come next. Tully stated that he had to give them some hope. In a later appearance on a weekly conservative talk show hosted by Rome, Georgia attorney David Goldenshoe, Tully spent most of his time emphasizing his connection to the district itself, rather than focusing on his prior role with Greene. He acknowledged the mixed feelings many voters have experienced in the wake of Greene's departure, describing how some had felt enamored with her at certain points and then disillusioned at others. Tully spoke of his commitment to being a steady presence for voters, saying that when people found themselves feeling very mad, they needed to know that someone cared enough to step up and address their concerns. Other candidates in the race have taken a more direct approach when discussing the former Congresswoman. James Marty Brown, a former firefighter and paramedic, offered a more pointed critique of Greene's style of politics. In a recent conversation with CNN, Brown said that Greene divided a lot of people with her approach. He used a colorful metaphor to describe her focus, comparing her to a cat chasing a little dangling feather or a shiny object, rather than stepping back to look at the big picture of what was happening around her. Brown's comments reflect a sentiment shared by several of the newcomers in the race, who appear more willing to publicly criticize Greene than those with deeper roots in local Republican politics. The pattern that has emerged among the Republican candidates is notable. Those who are better known within the district due to their prior involvement with local GOP politics have tended to strike a careful balance. They express loyalty to President Trump while also showing a degree of respect for Greene. On the other hand, candidates who are newer to the political scene have shown less hesitation in taking shots at their former Congresswomen. This divide speaks to the complexity of the race and the way candidates are trying to appeal to a voter base that remains deeply loyal to Trump, but may have mixed feelings about Greene and the manner of her departure. CNN reported that it spoke with or reviewed the public comments of 12 of the 16 Republicans who have launched campaigns for the seat. The coverage revealed that almost all of the candidates are claiming that they will be the best local ally to President Trump. More than half of them said they regularly hear from voters about Greene, including from individuals who have expressed feeling confused and betrayed by her decision to resign in the middle of her third term. This sentiment underscores the emotional dimension of the race, as voters grapple with what Greene's departure means for the district's representation in Congress. David Goldenshoe, the attorney who hosts the weekly conservative talk show on WLAQM, provided context about the political landscape of Georgia's 14th district. Goldenshoe, who is also the past chair of the Floyd County Republican Party, noted that the district is one of the most pro-Trump districts in the country. He specifically pointed to the northern counties along the Tennessee and Alabama borders, which are well away from the Atlanta suburbs and tend to be particularly supportive of the president. Given this political environment, Goldenshoe observed that it is no surprise to see candidates trying to out-Trump each other in their appeals to voters. The president's popularity in the region makes alignment with him a central element of nearly every campaign in the race. This week, President Trump made his preference known by endorsing Clay Fuller, who resigned from his position as a local district attorney to run in the special election. Fuller has made clear his intention to support the president, even in situations where the administration might take a position that differs from his own views. In an appearance on Goldenshoe's radio show, Fuller explained his approach to potential disagreements with the White House. He said that if the administration indicated a particular direction, he would recognize that they have a very strong perspective on what is best for the American people. Fuller added that he would be willing to listen and assist with that direction, because, as he put it, when he is in Washington, he is going to have the president's back. Greene herself has not weighed in on who should succeed her. In a post on X in November, she stated that she would not be endorsing a successor. This decision has left the field open for candidates to define themselves on their own terms, though many are still measured in how they discuss her tenure and her departure from office. The race also includes former state Senator Colton Moore, who resigned his seat to run for the congressional position. In a statement to CNN, Moore described Greene's departure as opening the door for a new chapter focused on unity behind Trump. Moore acknowledged that the Republican Party has problems, particularly when it comes to what he described as weak leadership and broken promises. He emphasized that Donald Trump remains the most important political figure in the movement and the clear leader of the America First base. Moore also expressed appreciation for Greene's efforts to hold people accountable and for her work fighting for the district, even as he positioned himself as a candidate with a distinct identity. Moore stated that he is not running to be anyone's clone. It is worth noting that Moore himself has a history of conflict within Republican circles. He was expelled from the state Senate's Republican caucus and was later arrested for attempting to force his way onto the House floor for a joint address after he had been banned from the chamber. Despite this background, Moore is seeking to present himself as a candidate capable of uniting the party behind the president while also charting his own course. The diversity of approaches among the candidates reflects the broader challenge facing Republicans in the district. Voters must decide not only who will best represent their interests, but also how they want their representative to engage with party leadership and with the sometimes contentious dynamics of national politics. As the March 10th primary approaches, the field remains crowded, and the stakes are high for a district that has been at the center of national political attention during Greene's tenure.